Hello students, in the last video we have seen uses and tests of stones. In case of uses of stones, the predominantly occupied application of stone is making concrete. Yes, concrete is a, mixture of different materials. We will be seeing that in detail in upcoming slides. So, one of the example I wanted to mention that the abutment of bridge we have seen and dams fine and retaining walls. So retaining walls are nothing but in a slopy areas the earth has to be retained safely by a solid member. So there the use of stones will be there in the form of retaining walls. So these are your retaining walls. You can able to see these retaining walls everywhere, but still in these pictures if you see just the soil filling is being surrounded by walls. Here if you say no sort of lateral pressure, much lateral pressure will be act on this particular wall. But here if you see this particular picture, it's like in a hilly area where a certain portion of slopy soil is being retained by this particular wall. So there the lateral force which are acting on this particular wall, it will be very large in intensity. So there the presence of retaining wall is being very much important, and mostly retaining walls are being made with the help of stones, and due to its having more resistance against lateral pressure. So comparing with the concrete, stones would be preferred there, right? Natural materials preference. Next, we will be seeing quarrying and dressing of stones. So, quarrying and dressing of stones is actually about acquiring process of stones. So, everybody knows that the stones are available in the form of large size rocks in the stratum. So, from that large size stratum, how people are cutting out the stones, how they are converting them into the stones which are used in construction. So these two questions are answered by this particular topic. Quarrying of stones. Quarrying is the process of taking out the stones from the rock beds. So that's it. Just acquiring smaller size stones from a large size rock stratum. The two types of quarrying are available. Quarrying to obtain stone blocks for building construction, then quarrying to obtain small sized irregular shaped aggregates for concrete roads and etc. So the first one, quarrying to obtain stone blocks for building construction. So that happens everywhere. Then from that large size stone blocks only people are cutting it or crushing it into different sizes according to the requirement in road work or in concrete making work. So that we will be seeing in the end of the unit. So how they are doing that crushing process. So the quarrying can able to be done in four different options. The first and very basic method is excavation. Excavation is nothing but using pickaxes and crowbars to separate the stones. Simply there the rock stratum will be available on and along the surface profile. So you can simply use some tools manually or using some machines. You can take the stones out of the rock stratum. So that's a fundamental method. And wedging is nothing but the method of making vertical holes closely on the rock and forcing the steel wedges and pins into the rock. Along the line of holes, the cracks are developed and stones come out. So it would look like this. So there is a large piece of rock is available. How to cut into number of pieces? So making a series of holes inside which people would insert some steel rods and try to break along with the that particular whole series line. Right. So that is called wedging. So instead of making that many number of holes in a series, people may have larger size of holes in smaller numbers also. So that is a process called the excavation. So once the large type of rocks or stones are being taken out from the rock stratum, then separately in a place people will do this process in manual orientation. Then blasting, of course everybody would have heard it, using some detonators to blast the rock stratum, so that a multiple number of different sized smaller stone blocks we can get from out of it. So how they are doing it? Similarly, instead of inserting the steel rod inside the holes, they would insert some powder. So once they detonate those blasting powder, the rock stratum would get blasted out. So then from that, people will get, they will collect all the blasted out stones. So while doing this particular process, it has to be well supervised during and before execution of this particular method, since it involves some risky nature. Then finally, heat application. So heat application is a method. The top layers of rocks are heated by burning piles of wood on the surface of the rock. Due to expansion, the top layers are separated from the bottom layers. By this method, granite and gneiss are removed from the rocks. So if you see this particular last picture, you can able to understand that there is a large horizontal deposit of your particular rock stratum. So how to make that easily to be taken out? So they are simply providing a heating source over the surface of that rock stratum here and there by using wooden piles and some fuels. So due to that heat, the top layers are getting peeled off, so they are getting expanded and getting peeled off. So now it will be easier for them to be taken out. So if you see the classification wise, stratified rocks can be done or can be preferred for this particular heat application of quarrying. So quarrying can be done in four different methods: excavation, wedging, blasting, and heat application. Once the quarrying is done, people will go for dressing of stones. Dressing of stones is the process by which the stones are cut into a suitable size and shapes. So you may able to see here, dressing of stone involves sizing, shaping, planing, finishing, and polishing. All these activities can be called as dressing of stones altogether. So dressing of stone, what's the purpose? Why we need to do the dressing work over the stone which are being acquired from the rock stratum? To obtain a good appearance in masonry walls. Yes, if the stones are being irregular in shape and non-uniform in colors and appearance, the output of your walls which you are constructing with those stones will not be appealing. So for that good appearance, people are doing this dressing of stones. Then to obtain proper bedding and bonding in masonry walls, that is very much important. In case of bricks, if you take, and the bricks are uniformly sized and shaped, so that we can easily put up with that cement paste, and we can make the wall construction very smoothly. But here in case of stones, if you want to construct any stones, use any construct any walls using stones, it will be somehow difficult to place the stones on that cement paste properly, because each and every stone piece would be in a different shape and dimension. So to avoid that difficulty, there people are needing such dressing of stones. Then to provide thin mortar joints between stones and the savings mortar. Yes, once you are having a proper shape and dimension, automatically that joints will be proper in providing the mortar joints, right? So to make the easy transport and handling, of course, for example, if you are taking out some 1 tons of small stone pieces from a quarry, and you need to transport them from that quarry to your construction site. So everything involves cost, transportation cost, handling and labor cost. So once you do that dressing in the quarry itself, you can accommodate more amount of stones per transport of your stones from that quarry to your site. Which means if you are employing one lorry, in that lorry you can accommodate more number of stones if you have done the dressing there itself. Or else, for one trip, more number of stones cannot be accommodated, so you may need to go for other number of more number of trips, which may result in high cost activity. So to obtain the required size and shape of the masonry structures, of course, the whole holistic look and appearance of the masonry lies in the uniform shape and dimension of your stonework. So in dressing also people are having different types. So nothing but where the dressing happens, once you blast a large size of rocks and you are getting your stone pieces here and there, and immediately there in the quarry itself if you are doing the dressing process, then it will be called quarry dressing. So for this, quarry has to be equipped with all the tools and things which are needed for doing the dressing process. Because quarrying is a different process, dressing is a different process. For quarrying there will be certain tools and things would be needed. Similarly for dressing process, shaping, planing, finishing and polishing work are needing a different set of equipments. If the quarry is equipped with all those equipments, then the dressing process can be done in quarry site itself, then it will be called quarry dressing. Then site dressing, site dressing is nothing but if the quarry doesn't have all these support for dressing activity, then that acquired quarried out stones has to be transported to the construction site. Then in the construction site people have to do the dressing process prior to construction of the particular component with the stones, then it will be called site dressing. That's all. So quarrying and the dressing of stones is very much important. So quarrying is nothing but acquiring of smaller stones from a large rock stratum, and dressing means process of converting stones into a suitable size and shape. Here the term is suitable. Suitable means where the particular stones are going to be used, depending upon that required shape and dimension will be made out. For example, you can use the stone in concrete. There the size will be 12 mm to 20 mm. So in case of you want to use those stones in railway track ballast, there the size will be much more larger than that. Again, if you want to use the stones in your foundation work, in the sense there the size will be very large. So depending upon where the stones are going to be used, a suitable size and shape will be acquired by doing the dressing of stones activity. So in stones, we have started from classification, geological, physical and chemical. Then properties of stones we have seen. Then test, what are all the laboratory tests which are conducted on assessing the quality of stones, right? So crushing strength, water absorption test, um, abrasion test, impact test are majorly done important tests. Then uses of stones, where the stones are being used in whatever the forms, what are the forms it is being used. So the major use of stone is being an ingredient in concrete, that is very much important. Then finally quarrying and dressing of stones. Quarrying means process of taking out the stones from the rock beds. Dressing means converting the stones to have a suitable shape and dimension. So this will be the look of crushing place, where a nearby quarry, where the nearby quarry will